Hi, so when I started putting this vlog together, I thought it was going to be very different. I thought it might just be a summary of my. Sorry, my hair is crazy because the weather's so dreadful. So I thought it would be a summary of a lesson I had with Joe, with Robbie and Incy sharing. But actually, what it's devolved into is hopefully something you'll quite enjoy. It's looking at Robbie's training and evolution about something that we discovered at Joe's, that he was not very happy about water trays, and then basically how we problem solved it, and then what the verdict is for today with him going cross-country schooling at Pontispool. So fingers crossed you'll find this quite interesting. I'll try and do a bit of voiceover about what my thoughts are, my reasons are behind stuff. It very much is pretty much a summary of how I train event horses. So it's very typical. I've had this with the mares before. Incy was using nightmare over some things and fine over others. So it's always about trying to find those holes in the training and then being able to fix them. So that's constantly what I'm looking for, but to do it in a very horse-friendly way. At this age with Robbie 4, and a lot of them actually even a bit older, you are often going to find that they can't answer questions because they just don't have the knowledge to do it. So it's about filling in that knowledge and then helping them to answer those questions. So it's pretty much how I do it. I have a very, very strong method for cross-country schooling. It's worked for me over the years. One of them is now at 3-star, pretty much going to go advanced next year, or tomorrow should I say, well not tomorrow but next year, 2024. Incy should hopefully go 2-star novice this year, fingers crossed, who knows, famous last words. And then I would hope Robbie will come out and just be very, very confident at 18, 90. He won't do much because he's 5. But anyway, hopefully you'll enjoy this. So this is a lesson with Joe, and Grace is riding Robbie. I'm on Incy, and as you can see, Incy's straight over the water tray. This would be normal run of the business with a lesson with Joe, just go over the water tray. As you can see, Robbie's having a think about it, and he's looking at it, and then he plucks up the courage and goes, but then he scares himself because he touches it slightly. It makes a noise and the arena surface hits it, so he's then worried himself. So this time he's like much more aware and careful. I don't want to force them over, so there's no whips or anything involved. It's just a bit of leg, and trying to give them a long rein and just be encouraging, because everything I want them to do is to think about the job and to enjoy it, not to have a miserable experience. So as you can see, he's having a bit of a think, he's worried, and then he freaks himself out by stepping on it and goes sideways and knocks a wing over. So at that point he's then really worried about it. So we look to go back to absolute basics. um, it's just, we ask again just to see what we've got. He's like, no thank you, that was really scary and I'm terrified. So at that point we're not going to force him over. We just absolutely drop it back to basics, and we're going to start making the question easier for him so he gets it. He's not going off the leg, he's scared. So now what we've done is we just ask him to go between the poles, because obviously he worried himself by jumping sideways into the wings. Luckily, they're just plastic wings. So now we're just doing the absolute basics, which I want him to go really slowly between the wings so that he knows what's they're okay and that they're not going to hurt him. So that's what we're just doing here. As you can see, he's going nice and slowly through them. Little bit anxious. You watch his ears go to the sides. He's very aware of the wings now because obviously he knocked them over. And then I want him to stand between them. So again, very much the basics from the summer. So then Joe's got the plastic poles, which are spongy and soft. So I suggested putting one of those down. Gets a lead from Incy, who's like completely unbothered, and he's then very worried. So it's just a little spongy pole that you often use, and then he goes over it like that. So he then goes backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards over that until he looks a bit more relaxed. As you can see, that's still too fast. So I'm not, backwards and forwards until he's completely almost tripping over it with boredom. So that he spends quite a lot of time doing that. So, he's still worried about it, the way he's crouching and jumping. From that, Joe's got a smaller water tray, so in a minute we'll evolve to that. There you go, it's getting better. So looking a little happier of how I want him to go. Again, I don't want him forced, I want him to be really happy and understand what he's doing. So it's got to go slowly. There you go, that's much better, where he looks relaxed and then he gets lots of praise. And then yep, so this is just carrying on to it. So it's exactly the same. It's all repetition with young horses. It's still a little too fast for me. So again, we carry on practicing that. Just backwards and forwards, long rein so he can look at what he's doing, not forcing him, just asking with the leg. There we go. That's what I want him to do. And then finally we evolve to a water tray, so he gets a lead from Incy, who's very unbothered by all this. And you can see he's a bit worried about it. I don't want him forced. Yeah, he gets a bit of a kick, gets a bit leg, but no whips or anything involved in that. Just say go forward. Then he plucks up the courage and goes, but then scares himself again. So he then spends a lot of time doing repetition until it looks like that, which is towards the end of the lesson. So happy enough with that result, but I wanted it to be even better.
Oh, so today what I thought I'd do a part 2 of, obviously you saw Robbie in the water tray the other day, so I just thought I would add to the video and show how I then spend time resolving this. So I've got Grace here helping me today. So all my work to resolve problems is done on the ground, and today I have set up some old feed bags which should hopefully, you know, if the surface goes on them. We haven't got an arena, so this is all, we've just got this kind of lunge turnout pen, but it's perfectly useful for what we need to do today. So I've set up plastic bags on this, and then I do have a wooden water tray. Now he has jumped this before and it's not quite the same. So that's it. Now just walk towards it so he can see it. That's it. And then walk towards the other one so he can see it. So he knows it's nothing to worry about. There you go. See, there he's worried about that one because he's sped up. So then I just carry on the same, but I want him to stay in a... Not helped by the horse behind spooking at something. But yeah, I just want him to, he's got to go slowly past that water tray, my fake water tray. Yeah, he does. See how he goes slowly past that one? Now he needs to go same. Going back over. So the important thing is, my other important thing, good boy, is that I try not to lead them all the time over stuff, because otherwise they don't think for themselves. So now you can go around again. So he's fine with the water tray, as I said he was last summer. It's more the... Good boy. Not you. And then I'll do it back the other direction, just because of the way their brains work. Robbie, over. See, it's funny, isn't it, how the brains work?
Yeah, one side he likes it, one side he doesn't.
It's just go round again, that wasn't good enough. You don't get a treat for that. You can come round again. I know, she's come on, Robbie. He's all over the treats, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Good boy.
unfortunately, I've created a monster. Because I've
A treat monster.
taught him to do grid work, free jumping.
With treats, so
Yeah,
now he just
with
expects treats
and
all the
every time he
time.
goes over a jump, he gets a treat. Now I've created a monster. The problem is, I've taught him that, you know, to go over the jump is the correct answer. Good boy.
And now he looks for a treat every single time he does anything.
But to be fair, it is what I want. So now he's going to now do the same with the next one. Nope. Nope. So actually, all I want him to do is stand next to it. Good boy. Good boy. No. Go. Go. Interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's fine with the water tray, but not this.
There you go. No, go on. No. No. Back. No. Stay straight. Back. No. I should have put a red holster on it. Robbie. Go back. See, it makes the same noise.
It's the same one as the water tray, but the other water tray's wooden. So when it makes a noise, it doesn't scare him.
Yeah, he's worried about it.
Very.
No, don't get a treat for that. Back go. No, that's not the answer. Good boy. That's what I want. No, get back.
So I'm really happy with this result. This is a really good outcome from what I wanted. So a couple of days later, we go hacking. There's streams and water. Robbie pops the stream brilliantly with a lead from Incy, then does it by himself. So that is great progress with natural country. And then now we're back at Pontispool, so I'm just trotting around. He's a bit on his toes, he's a bit anxious because he's by himself with strange horses, it's a big site. So just want him trotting around, taking everything in and not getting himself into trouble. So as you can see, steering's not terribly good sometimes, but doesn't he, I think he looks really well. You can really see the horse he's going to be in the future. So I don't really worry about where he is with his schooling. At the moment he's done a load of hacking and going up hills and things to try and build him up and strengthen him in straight lines. I'm just not worried about the circles yet because you can see from him that will all come. A lot of people do more circles than me, I don't. Now we're into canter. As you can see, the canter's big and weak, pushes himself slightly on the forehand, where he's got the power from behind and can't quite contain it. But again, I'm not worried about that at the moment. That will all come later. He's 4. I just want him to stay straight and be having a nice time and building up slowly. So from after this canter, I start with step. I make a stupid error here because I wanted him just to go straight, thinking, oh, he'll like, but he actually spooks at the shadow and then ends up going down the bigger one. So I didn't even think he'd look at the shadow, but because of course his brain's not quite there yet, don't worry about it. So then I just come round and then we'll go back up the step again. So I kind of start with steps and things like that quite early because they don't require too much thinking from the horse and you kind of understand what you've got. But yeah, I didn't take into account the shadow enough. But the wind and the weather was changing so much, and as you can see now the shadow's disappeared. And now he pops down there, long rein, sit up, out the way, and makes no fuss. So for his first jump, I start with a little show jump over a cross pole, just because it's nice and easy. He's been there before, where he pops quite nicely. Again, he's super green, but just don't worry about that as long as he's straight and enjoying the job. And then we start with some little tiny cross-country jumps, which we jump out of trot. He's a bit fussy in the contact at the moment, but again, it's because he can't really control his balance. So again, I just don't worry about it at the moment. Because the more you start fiddling with it, the more you make them funny in the mouth and things. I just want him to just go straight and forwards, which he does. Then we come around for this log. And actually, this is his only real mistake that he makes all day. So he has a bit of a spook, as you can see, not really focused on it. And then I just stand him in front of it so he understands what he needs to do. As you can see, and then oh, there he goes, he has a sniff. Don't tell him off because he doesn't really understand the questions at the moment. And then I'm just going to come back and trot. Nothing changes from me, just keep him straight. And he understands the question. So really pleased with that. Going back over it again, because again, my formula for this is rinse and repeat until they really get it. As you can see, he totally has it that time.
When I'm scared, I find myself thinking about you. You're out there and I'm alone in this room. I wonder what you're doing now and if you think about me too. 'Cause I'm always thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about you. I can't stop, I still dream about you. My heart beats so lonely without you. I'd climb mountains to get you here with me. Still dream about you. I wonder what you're doing now and if you think about me too. 'Cause I'm always thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about you. You're out there and I'm alone in this room. I wonder what you're doing now and if you dream about you. I wonder what you're doing now, and if you think about me too. 'Cause I'm always thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about you. I wonder what you're doing now, and if you think about me too. 'Cause I'm always thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you.
Purposely left the ditch until last because I wanted him to be having a lovely time, be really confident. So at the moment, all I'm doing, I've put him on the rope halter, put him on the lunge line, and I just want to walk around it. I have no idea at this point whether he's going to be really confident over it or whether, all my work that I've done means he's still going to be worried about it. So at the moment, I'm just walking around. Ideally, I'd have a 10-foot rope because the lunge line is a little bit too long for this, but I've broken my last one, so I need to replace that. So just walking around, as you can see, the weather is horrendous. And then I just walk over it and bingo, he pops straight over it. So I'm absolutely thrilled at this point because it's not the nicest ditch. And just, all that work has gone in and he's straight over. So then I just pop back over it. And you can see he's really relaxed, really happy about it, looking at what he's doing. So now what I want him to do is to be able to go over. There we go. Now we're on minimal fuss after just 2 attempts. I'm just really pleased with him. There you go. He's even put a foot in it. So that's a really good sign that he's really casual about it. So now I want him to go over without me, which he obliges about. So this is why I have him on the rope halter, because then I'm not pulling on their mouth, and they can do things like just trot off. So now I just want him to go over by himself. He's too busy looking at the other horses. And then slightly guided. There you go, straight over without me. And back again. So now I put myself on board and look at this. What a little star, looking at what he's doing, and he's quite cheery about himself. And now he's giving Grace a lead because her horse doesn't jump ditches, and super proud of Robbie. Thought this would interest people, and now he's giving Grace a lead through the water. But what an absolute star, absolutely thrilled with him. He's had a lovely time going cross-country schooling. Haven't jumped anything big, but he hasn't needed to. He's just wanted him to have a lovely time and see what happened.
So that's the end of the vlog. Hopefully it all sort of made sense about the way I do things. Also, you can see the difference, hopefully, in Robbie and his confidence levels and the way of figuring things out. Obviously, I did a video in the summer with him and, you know, we couldn't even stand near things today. And today he's popping over a brush like, you know, brilliant. I can't, you know, absolutely chuffed. Jancis and I pretty much have a very similar method to how we do everything. And it's all about, you know, putting the building blocks into the horses in a very pragmatic way so that they can answer the questions. As a very experienced Canadian friend once told me, the questions at the eventing levels don't change. Going in jumping off into water, going up steps, going down steps, going over ditches, they don't change, they just get bigger, wider and more technical. So this is why it's absolutely essential to do the building blocks now. Obviously I'm very particular about it, but it tends to work out. So yeah, hopefully very much this vlog has worked. Any questions, please stick them in the comments. More than happy to try and answer them. Not an expert by any but can maybe explain thought processes or the way I do things. As I said, I'm not a trainer, it's just the way I've learned to do things over the years.